The Turf and Touchdowns podcast for week 12 is here. Another massive week for us in week 11. You are in absolutely the perfect place to get a few winners this week in week 12. We've got a special coming up as well. Monday Night Football, a standalone preview on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. We're ditching the horse racing for this week. We're focusing solely on NFL. We've done our Thursday Night Football preview as well. Go back, check how we did it on that. But we're here talking about Sunday. Luke Elder alongside Tom Collins as always. I must say, Tom, what a beautiful shirt you're wearing.
What a lovely shirt that you bought me. We are rivals, Florida v Florida State, as we kind of hinted at in the Thursday night preview. That was going to be the case this week. I mean, you know, we're not rivals. We love each other, really. But yeah, this week we're going to be against each other in plenty of plays. There's also, spoiler alert, a joint play. And I know everyone waits for the joint play, so stick around for that. Plenty of bets coming up, hopefully lots of winners. So tune in for the rest of the show. Right at the end, we do a roundup for our selections. But if it's anything like week 11, hopefully we're going to have another profitable week, Luke.
Going to be honest, when you see like the running order come through, we don't tell each other our bets before we put them in. When you see the joint play come through, little tingle?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a little bit.
You think, oh, yes, this is an absolute certainty now. We are 3 from 3 with joint plays on Sunday. We're going to forget about the one that we put up on Thursday Night Football. Thursday night sucks. But Sunday, 3 from 3 on joint plays. That is coming up just a little bit later on. We've got plenty to get through. We've got a joint play. We've got our play of the days to get through as well. Last week, though, Tom, not too bad. 3 winners on my part. No player of the day winner for me. I'm really sad. It's the first time in 8 weeks I don't get a victory sip, and I'm really thirsty.
Oh, so am I, and I'm allowed it. A victory sip for Justin Jefferson overs. Thank you very much.
I hate Justin Jefferson. Hate Cedric.
Don't say that, mate. Don't say that. You wait and see what I've got lined up this week.
Is one of them Cedric Tillman?
It's absolutely not. Right. I'm not going to bash you in any way. You put up a lot of selections. And to be fair, if anyone's interested, our profit loss is very similar between us. We're both boasting around an ROI of 12%. Luke has slightly higher profit, which is, I think, 1 point more profit than I do. But my strike rate is slightly higher. So we're very similar. And therefore, I cannot bash you. But Cedric Tillman, mate, what are we doing? That should have been my what on earth. It should have been what on earth, Luke Elder.
I mean, it should have landed, quite simply. He had 8 targets, 3 catches.
It's Cedric Tillman, man. It's the Cleveland Browns.
What, you mean Cedric Tillman, who's crushed the 3 weeks building into that? If anything, it should be what on earth, Luke Elder. I took Cedric Tillman's ability away from him.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100% on me. Do you know who we do like, though?
Go on.
We do like our really good friends over at SBK. Really good friend. Oh, wait, they haven't bought us a present recently.
No, they haven't. They need to give us something.
Yeah, exactly. Cake or just snacks of some kind.
Or I would take free bets, to be honest.
Or free bets. Or, you know, like some companies give sweets, but they like put their little logo into the mint.
Oh, yeah.
I want Turf and Touchdowns mints.
I'll get onto the marketing.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
But for you guys, not for us, SBK offering a 25% ACCA boost to use on this weekend's NFL matches. If you fancy my selections, prefer Tom Collins' selections, or you want to mix and match on both of them, SBK is the best place to do that with that 25% ACCA boost. Head over to SBK, discover all their offers, max stakes, T's and C's applies, 18 plus, and please gamble responsibly. And some mints will be good.
Yeah, there's another offer as well that Luke said. Please go over to check out their offers. One of those is get £40 in free bets when you bet your first £10 with SBK. There's a link below in the description if you do want to sign up to SBK. They're brilliant for all American bets, whether that be American racing, if you want to follow our horse racing picks, not this week, but in the weeks to come, or if it's to do with NFL or any other American sports, really. They offer the best prices, all the markets, albeit you will have to wait close to the time for some of them. And yeah, why not take advantage? So as I say, link in the description below. Go sign up with SBK and play some of our picks this week.
Absolutely. We've got plenty of picks coming at you in just a moment in time. Let's do what on earth, because it's been a weird week in the NFL. I'm going to start off by bashing one of your favourite people in the entire world. What on earth? Aaron Rodgers comes in, obviously tears his Achilles, out for the year. Comes back, he clears house. Narcissist Rodgers is going crazy over at the Jets. Robert Saleh fired, 1-5 since Robert Saleh left. He's not the problem. Joe Douglas is now gone, which, yeah, fair enough. Bringing in Aaron Rodgers for that much money is absolutely ridiculous. But the Jets are a broken franchise. They've been a broken franchise for a long, long time. Tear it down. You've given Aaron Rodgers everything he possibly wants. Put a name on the paper, we'll sign them. You want Randall Cobb? Why not? I don't know. He's just short of bringing back Jordy Nelson, who's hopping on one leg. They gave him Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams has been pretty moderate since joining the Jets. Now the GM's gone, the head coach is gone. It is absolute chaos. If you're a Jets fan, I am so sorry, because the way your team run is an absolute disgrace. And honestly, in the near future, there isn't much to look forward to. At least you got Breece Hall. That's a good thing. You got Breece Hall. But Tom, what on earth, Aaron Rodgers?
I love Rodgers. You know I love Rodgers as a Packers fan. But I tend to agree with you here. I tend to agree with you. It feels like everyone in that Jets organization has gone, okay, Aaron, whatever you want, we'll give you. You've just got to have some success on the field, and if you have the success, then it's absolutely fine. Randall Cobb will bring in, Alan Lazard will bring in. We'll have a look at all the other Green Bay Packers players in a history of the Green Bay Packers. As you say, that Jordy Nelson almost came back. Donald Driver, Jermichael Finley, anyone else? It seems like Rodgers just wanted to live that Green Bay Packers lifestyle in New York. It's not worked out. Now, I will say that Joe Douglas, the firing there, I get it because he's brought in Aaron Rodgers, but he also brought in Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. He drafted some very good players, Sauce Gardner. Like, he's done an okay job. I feel like it's a little bit harsh. Maybe the fault lies with A-Rod. And I saw a video this week from Aaron saying that he wants to play again next year. Good news, Jets fans. Anyway, I'm going to move on with my what on earth, and it's going to be slightly different. I didn't want to bash any players, really, but I'm going to do so. But I'm going to do it as a group, a positional group. What on earth? NFL kickers. It felt like we've gone back about 20 years. What happened last week? You go back last season, it felt like all the kickers were metronomic. Yeah, they would miss a couple from 50 plus. Okay, that's kind of expected. You don't really assume all of these kickers are going to make every single kick they make, every single kick they attempt. Last week, Josh Carty, 26-yarder, missed. Dustin Hopkins, 27-yarder, missed. What on earth, NFL kickers? You know what? I would back you right now in that Florida State jumper to go onto the field and kick a 26-yarder, providing you have a holder, a perfect snap, and even against pass rush, I would back you to do it. So what on earth, NFL kickers? It feels like something's going to miss.
I'd back myself to do it if I had to play snapper, holder, and kicker.
No, I wouldn't back you for that.
I can't be that hard.
Not from 26 or 27. I know it sounds like a stupid thing that people say in podcasts or videos, or I could do that. We actually could kick from that yardage. I have done it before when I used to play. I wasn't a kicker, but I've attempted it before. It's really not that difficult. Like, I get you've got people running in your face trying to block the kick, but from 25, 26, it's literally a chip. It's a bit of a shambles. I feel like any kicker that misses from sub 30, they should be gone.
Yeah, it's as easy as Brandon Aubrey makes it look, and even he missed last week, albeit he was wearing the wrong cleats and he did slip, so we'll give him a pass on that. Just, by the way, Joe Douglas, list of players that he's brought into the franchise: Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, Will McDonald, who's having a fantastic year, Braylon Allen, who looks a very good running back for the future, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Carter II, Aaron Rodgers, mistake, Devontae Adams he brought in, and also Hassan Reddick, who is a bit of a dum-dum, and just didn't want to play for half of the year. He didn't do a bad job of Joe Douglas. The one thing is just bringing in Aaron Rodgers. But we move on. We move on to this week, and we've got plenty to get through. We've done our what on earth. Tom, let's move into selections. I'm actually going a bit topsy-turvy this week. Normally I attack early on, and then I fizzle out late on regards to selections. But we're doing it the other way around. You are going a little bit heavier on the early part of things.
Yeah, very top heavy. You're normally 6 p.m. based, UK time, of course. I normally go with the later games, but this week, as you say, I'm going with the early games, and I'm going to kick off with two selections to get this podcast started, both of which are anytime touchdown picks. Now, the first selection is in the Washington Commanders v Dallas Cowboys game. The Dallas Cowboys suck. Their year is over already. Dak Prescott's obviously on IR. Cooper Rush is not an NFL quarterback, I'm afraid, and he is being forced to play that position right now. They should definitely give Trey Lance another go, by the way. But anyway, Dallas are just terrible right now. Their defense is okay, especially the line with Micah Parsons, but the secondary is just not playing as expected. Plus, when the offense can't do anything, it puts the defense in precarious positions, and therefore they give up a lot of points. Now, last week, the Cowboys got hammered by Houston. The week before, they got hammered by... I can't remember who it was, but they got hammered again. This week, they're going to get hammered by Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. I like Daniel's anytime touchdown here, by the way, but that's not the pick. It's going to be Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown, 8 to 11. We'll kick things off with a running back, hopefully getting into the end zone. Uh, Despite Micah Parsons' return after injury, Dallas have just been killed in the running game. Now I'm going to give you some stats here from the last 5 weeks. Last week, Joe Mixon, 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. The week before, the Eagles went for 187 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The week before, the Falcons went for 100 and a touchdown. The week before, the 49ers went for 223 and 2 touchdowns. And the week before that, the Lions went for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. They are just being carved up on the ground. I don't necessarily know why, because, as I say, the D-line is playing well in rushing the QB, just not against the run. Now, I understand there's been some good teams in there. Obviously, the Lions, probably the best team in football right now. The Eagles, the Texans I love, as everyone knows. The 49ers are a pretty decent team as well. So they've played some good units, but at the same time, they are being carved open. I don't see why that won't happen this week against Washington. I love Brian Robinson in this spot. He's done very well this season as well. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and he's got 7 touchdowns in 8 games. So Brian Robinson to kick things off, anytime touchdown for the Washington Commanders against the Dallas Cowboys. That is bet number 1. Bet number 2, straight away, 6 p.m. again. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings, 11 to 10, which surprised me. I thought he'd be odds on. They're against the Chicago Bears. I haven't forgiven the Bears, by the way, for stopping the Packers covering last week, which would have let me gone 5 out of 5.
Wait. You're a Packers fan, and you're saying you're not forgiving the Bears for not covering. Mate, they handed you the game on the plate. They should have beaten you.
I hate the Bears. Yeah, but you're right. They should have made the kick at the end. But...
By the way, big week for the podcast. Seattle beat San Francisco and Green Bay beat Chicago. Both our teams beat the 2 teams we hate.
We were very happy in WhatsApp on Sunday. Let's just say
we've got San Francisco viewers as well, regular viewers. So in your face.
Anyway, back to just talking about the Bears and how they're going to lose on Sunday. They're playing the Vikings. I like the Vikings to win this matchup, but I do actually think it's going to be very offensive based. I know both of these defenses are solid, the Bears especially, but the Vikings are also relatively solid on defense. But I think the offense is going to play a big part in this matchup for both teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put points on the board here. Chicago looked better against us, especially on offense. I think that was due to Caleb Williams running the ball rather than going backwards when he was trying to scramble and therefore getting sacked. But I don't think they're going to be outscoring the Vikings. And the Vikings are just due to get a touchdown to Justin Jefferson. He had 5 TDs in the first 6 games this year, 0 in the last 4 weeks. Last week, they tried to get the ball to him from the 1-yard line. He unfortunately dropped the ball in the end zone. It was a difficult catch, but still, he had every chance to make it and didn't. They also tried to get the ball from the 8-yard line to Justin Jefferson on a slant route, and he got tackled down at the 1. So they were super close. The week before, Justin should have got in, but he had 1 call back for a penalty. It just feels like they're trying to get Justin Jefferson going again, and it's not really working. He's still getting the yards in the middle part of the field, just not getting those 6 points in the end zone. That being said, he's had 14 red zone targets this year, which is the tied 4th most in the league. He's obviously a huge threat outside the red zone, crossing routes, deep routes, everything like that. So it's not just within inside the 20-yard line that you want to be looking at Jay Jetters. I just think that Justin Jefferson is due. They're going to be looking at him. He's averaged 97 yards in games against Chicago Bears in his career. This is Jefferson's week. I love him. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown, 11 to 10.
I like it. My only concern is that I'm a little worried that Sam Darnold is about to turn back into Sam Darnold.
He could do. But the thing is, I feel like even Sam Darnold can get the ball to Justin. He gets so wide open so often that even if Darnold misses a little bit, surely Justin's going to come up with it.
I mean, that is a fair point. Cooper Rush has managed to get the ball to CD Lamb, and if he can do that, then Sam Darnold can get the ball to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
We'll see on that part. But Tom taking on Chicago. He's not satisfied with a victory last week. I'm going to move on to my first selection, and this is a guy that we have used quite a few times in the podcast so far this year, and I think to success every single time. I think we're about 4-0 with Devon Achane, who I think he's going to have another big week. Over 68.5 rushing yards is the play with Achane. They take on the Patriots, and in case you didn't know, in case you haven't watched this podcast before, the Patriots suck against the run. They are terrible against the run. Devon Achane earlier on in the year, he averaged 6 yards per carry against them. That was only on 3 carries because he got a concussion in the game. Obviously, I don't think he didn't actually have to miss time because he had a bye week just afterwards, but he did average 6 yards. Fantastic start. Last few weeks, the Patriots have taken on some okay running backs, some very top tier running backs as well. Kyron Williams, not Wilson.
Karen Wilson.
Just potted it beautifully.
I have to say, I would have probably tried to put up Karen Wilson for Williams this week if I could, but I'm not going to, just because I thought I'd get the name wrong.
I just can't look stupid again.
Yeah.
But Kyron Williams went for 86 yards against the Patriots last week, averaging 5.7 yards per carry. Tony Pollard in recent weeks, 128 yards, averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Breece Hall, 80 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. And Tank Bigsby in London, which is a little while back now, yes, 118 yards, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. That is pretty dismal from the New England defense. 7 running backs in the last 5 weeks against them have averaged more than 4 yards per carry. That's with a minimum of 5 carries in a game. They're just so bad against the run. And I think this is where Devon Achane can exploit them as well. He's an explosive running back. When he can get sort of high numbers on the yards per carry stat, that's a massive help. Devon Achane has averaged 4.29 yards per carry or more in 4 of the last 5 games, 5 of 6 if you count the 3 carries against New England, but I'm not going to do that part. And he was allowed 17 carries last week. That's the second highest amount of his season. And if that's not enough, he's got the backfield to himself. No one else is doing anything in Miami whatsoever. Jalen Wright last week, 5 carries for 4 yards. Raheem Mostert, 3 carries for -2 yards. They average 0.8 and I think -0.7 yards per carry. It's just a torrid time to be anyone in the backfield in Miami that isn't Devon Achane. He is used in all facets of the game. I think this line of 68.5 is pretty low. I think Miami win the game. I think Devon Achane is a big factor towards that. So, Tom, give me Devon Achane over 68.5 rushing yards.
I love it. I actually do love it. It was part of my notes prior to actually seeing you were going to put it up in our group chat. I think Achane's going to cover the overs and get a touchdown. He is the obvious play in this game, and maybe I should be going obvious and should be making this a joint play.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I'm going to look elsewhere. In that game, specifically, I do want to target the Dolphins, but I have to admit, I love your Achane selection. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a winner. As I say, I'm going to look elsewhere. I'm going to look at a different line. I think the Dolphins will win as well, and I think they'll move the ball quite easily against this New England Patriots team. Patriots just are pretty dismal. I think Drake May might actually have a good game for New England on the offensive side, but the defense against Miami shouldn't be able to live with them. And I'm going to look at a slightly bigger price than Achane anytime, which was my last off my shortlist in this game. And it's going to be Jonnu Smith over 39.5 receiving yards at 10 to 11. So we need 40 plus to cover with Jonnu Smith. Maybe Jonnu Smith isn't a name that everyone who watches this podcast would ever kind of look out for or bet in a player prop or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like Smith's had a very good and underrated year, especially over the last 5 weeks. If I read out to you his receiving yards over the last 5 weeks, or 6 weeks actually, maybe it'll be kind of good for context here. He's had 62, 96, 20. Okay, that was a poor week. 46, 45, and 101. Jonnu Smith, the tight end for the Dolphins who have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. You know, they've got lots and lots of weapons, most of which can run like 4.3 40-yard dashes, but they're going to Jonnu Smith quite regularly. As I say, out of those last six games, he would have covered this receiving line of over 39.5 on 5 occasions. And most interestingly, in my opinion, Jonnu Smith used to play for New England. And I like targeting tight ends against their previous teams. I don't really know what it is, but mainly tight ends over wide receivers is the way I like to go with this. I think Jonnu Smith's going to have a good day. He's going to want to put it up to New England and show them what they're missing out on. One last point. New England so far this season have given up an average of 45 yards to tight ends. The line here is 39.5. Even if Jonnu hits the average for himself and for what the Patriots generally give up, he'll hit the over.
Yeah, I like revenge games, full stop, because I always feel that coaches give a layup to players. They're like, do you want? Oh, all right, go on then. You can have a touchdown in this game. It's like they always just throw in a little nugget. But if you are listening and you're not fully sure who Jonnu Smith is, if you're a Kyle Pitts manager last year, this is the guy you hate. If you're a Jalen Waddle manager this year, this is the guy you hate because he's taken up all your targets, he's taken up all your yards, but he's doing very well with it. It's just been a horrible year for Jalen Waddle. But
can we start calling Jalen Waddle Jalen Fraudle?
No,
he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He is. He came in this year as one of the highest powered wide receivers. Yeah, he's got Tyreek in the team as well, but he's so explosive and he can make huge plays happen. What's happened?
I,
He's literally gone missing, mate. He's a fraud.
yeah, I don't know. I don't. He's been brilliant in his entire NFL career before this year.
Yeah,
I'm happy to give him the timeout when Tua was away, but even now he's been absolutely dreadful. He's a
yeah.
drop candidate in many fantasy football leagues going into the playoffs because he's not helping your team at all. But should we move on to something happier, Tom?
Let's.
I want to get like a play of the day song going. So if you could give us like a play of the day little jingle, that'd be great.
Play of the day.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. Tom has to do that every single week now. We need to clip that, get it recorded, and then we can play it. But play of the day time. We're focusing on the Seahawks, which is my team, which is dangerous. Tom's tried the Packers a few times. It's not gone overly well. We've had some luck with the Seahawks so far this year, in fairness. But Seattle take on the Arizona Cardinals. So it's a divisional matchup. It's a big matchup as well. And it's a matchup that I think Ken Walker is going to go very, very well in. This Ken Walker actually was my first winner on the podcast when we started it weeks and weeks ago. It was Ken Walker anytime touchdown. But I think he'll get a touchdown this week, but 64.5 rushing yards is the way to go on that side of things. Arizona, I don't think they're a very good defense, but I think they've been hidden by the fact they've blown teams out the last few weeks. Specifically, I don't think they're a very good defense against the run game. In those blowouts, Brees Hall still got 52 yards and DeAndre Swift still got 51 yards. The week prior, Devon Achane, 97 yards. Like I say, the last two games have been blowouts and Arizona are playing good football once again. But the big thing regarding Ken Walker isn't actually about Ken Walker. He had a better week last week against San Francisco when Seattle beat San Francisco, when Seattle beat San Francisco, when Seattle beat San Francisco, when Seattle beat San Francisco. But the Seattle O-line is getting better. It couldn't have got much worse because it was dreadful at the start of the year. But Abe Lucas is back. That's a massive, massive thing for Seattle. He was very good last week. He was working on Nick Bosa. And I know Nick Bosa was hurt, but he was winning the majority of the time. And against a guy like Bosa, that's a big thing. A name that you won't know, and a name that I didn't really know until last week, is Oluwatimi. He played under center. Now, midweek, Connor Williams decided, I'm done with football. I'm retiring. And he was out. Olu came in. And he played lights out under center. He was absolutely phenomenal on that side of things. The run game saw an immediate improvement in Ken Walker. But look, the O-line was better in passing. It was better in run blocking. They were just so much better. If they can carry things forward to Arizona, where Arizona's pass rush and their run defense is not fantastic, then Seattle should be able to at least put up a lot of points in this game. Whether we win the game, I don't know. But I think Ken Walker is the smash play, Tom, in this game. And you agree.
I need a joint pay jingle. Joint pay? Joint play. Hopefully it is a joint pay, by the way.
Yeah. This needs to be a bit more rough and ready, doesn't it?
It does.
Is a bit more like, it's the joint play.
That sounds like a WWE intro. I don't mind it though. It sounds
It's
like
time to
Triple
join
H.
play.
Yeah, Triple H the game. We just stand there like, come on. Yeah, Ken Walker over 64.5 rushing yards for me too at 10 to 11. As we've already said, we don't collaborate with these picks. We just happen to come down on the same plays, and we're 3 from 3 on Sundays this season with joint plays. So hopefully we can make it 4 from 4. I'm not going to add too much to what you said. You covered a lot there. Obviously, as a Seahawks fan, you gave us that little down low on the O-line as well. I'll just give a couple of stats. The Cardinals this year giving up 127 rushing yards per game. Ken Walker's improved over the last couple of weeks, but he generally just has a great record against Arizona.
Yeah.
Actually, he's played them 4 times in his career, and so far he's averaged 97 yards per game against them, with an average minimum carry of 4 yards per game. That is 4+ in every single one of those matchups. He's going to be able to move the ball. And even if he gets close to that average, he will crush the line. I expect the line may move up. So I think, like we didn't do in previous podcasts when people were like, well, the line's moved up, would you play it now? I think we should give a limit here of where we would go. I would say, right, firstly, the line we're both playing is over 64.5. I would go up to 70 at least here. Like I feel like he's going to hit 80+ in this game. So I'd go up to 70, and I think that's relatively safe. But obviously take the lowest you possibly can, shop around, and hopefully find the right price.
I think he has a big game. I would bet him high 70s, probably 80 and a half. I'd still bet the overs. Just looking at his, because you can bet specific sort of yardage. Ken Walker sort of, I mean, if you're looking over 100 yards, that's about 4-1-ish.
Yeah, I feel like that's. I mean, obviously you're going to get a big price there. This isn't our selection, by the
No,
way. I
no,
do
no,
want to
no.
keep hammering down. We're playing over 64 and a half. But if you did want to take higher, I feel like we're both in the team of kind of saying, yeah, that would be a good value bet.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to take the layup as well. I wasn't sure whether I was going to add it in, but at 8-11, I'm going to add in Ken Walker anytime touchdown as well. Just because I'd be so disappointed if he didn't score in this game. Arizona allow you to run on them. Seattle are going to be more than competitive. They're not favourites at home, coming off the back of a San Francisco victory. I think this is going to be a brilliant game. This, for me, is probably... I don't know if I'm biased, Tom, but this, for me, is the game of the week.
I think you are a little bit biased. It's going to be a good game.
Okay.
I don't really disagree with that, but I think I'm trying not to be biased myself, but I do think the
I knew you were
49ers.
going to say this.
I do think the 49ers at the Packers is the best game, but it would be close between the two. It's a bit of a shame that they've got them both on in that 9:25 slate. They could have had one on Monday Night Football, but we'll get to that in our separate podcast as to why that is Monday Night Football.
Yeah, but looking forward to both of those games. The latest selection, the player of the day is Ken Walker, over 64 and a half rushing yards, and I'm going to throw in the touchdown on top at 8-11 as well. Tom Collins, it is not back to yourself, because I'm looking at the running order, and it's back to this guy, Luke Elder, where we're going to talk about, I think, one of my favourite teams that aren't Seattle this year. Every single
Can
team...
I stop you? In week 4 or 5, I need to go and check back in
I
our
know
other
what's coming
podcast.
here. I know what's coming.
I said to you, I really like Bo Nix. I think he's a very good quarterback, rookie quarterback. I think he's the best in the class so far. Not Jaden Daniels, etc., but like the best of the the quarterbacks people didn't expect would be good this year. And you were like, I think he's awful. Bo Nix is rubbish. Now you carry on.
I think Bo Nix is going to have a great week. Bo Nix, I traded for in fantasy, and he's now my fantasy quarterback going into the playoffs. Bo Nix is great. Love me some Bo Nix. I think 3-1 about him to be offensive rookie of the year. It's not a bad bet. Which, at the start of the year, if I'd have said that, I'd have slapped my face so hard. But look, you hold your hands up.
I
When
need
you're
you
wrong.
to. I think you should say sorry to not only myself, not only to the Turf and Touchdown viewers, but also to Bo Nix himself.
I'm sorry, Bo Nix. And I'll be even more sorry if you go over 213 and a half passing yards. There was one market I really wanted, but as of this moment, it hasn't been priced up. That's the over on the passing touchdowns of Bo Nix. I imagine it'll be 1.5. Go bet that as well. I think he'll be absolutely fine on that front. But Bo Nix gets to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are not very good. That's been the way for quite some time now. But Bo Nix has just been throwing the ball left, right, and center. Last week, he was disrespectful against Atlanta. Atlanta couldn't keep up with Denver whatsoever. They just got absolutely whooped by Denver. But Bo Nix has gone over this line in his last 4 games. He's thrown for 30. He's thrown 30 or more times in the last 4 games as well. And against Vegas, quarterbacks have a good time of things. In the last few weeks, Tua threw for 288, Joe Burrow threw for 251, Patrick Mahomes, who, let's face it, Patrick Mahomes has not been very good. If you're a fantasy manager of Patrick Mahomes, you're probably starting someone else right now. But he threw for 262 yards. Last week, 28 completions on 33 passes. That's an 85% completion rate, which for any rookie is absolutely fantastic, but for Bo Nix, that is absolutely brilliant. He's really coming of age. And he's played Vegas so far earlier in this season, with it being another divisional matchup. He threw for 206 yards against Vegas, 27 attempts, 19 completions, 206, and 2 touchdowns. That was before he really took off. That was back in week 5. That was probably his announcement onto the scene of, you know what, this guy's not too bad. He can play. Part of the reason as well that he is improving at such a rapid rate, his receiving core is so young. He's got Cortland Sutton, yes, but other than that, Devon Vele's in there. He's got Marvin Mims in there, who had a good week last week. Troy Franklin's beginning to come good as well, and the running game is beginning to get a lot better. Javonte Williams looked good last year. Last week, I should say. Audric Estime looked good a couple of weeks ago. I don't know who the lead back's going to be this week, because Sean Payton says they're going to play it week by week, but I think Bo Nix will crush his line of 213 and a half passing yards. And I'm going to go full Denver here. I'm going to go Denver -6 against the Raiders. They were absolutely ruthless last week against Atlanta. They won 38-6. That was after losing to the Chiefs, where they really shouldn't have. They had a field goal blocked as time expired, and it was heartbreak for them regards to losing to the Chiefs. They beat Vegas 34-18 in week 5. And this year, their wins for Denver have come by 19 points, 1 point, 16, 23, 14, and 32. Denver, when they win, they're winning big, and they don't care about your feelings either. They will go out there. They will keep passing on you. It does not matter whatsoever. Some teams try and just limit how far they win by. They try and be respectful. Not this team, not Sean Payton. They're putting as many points as they possibly can on you. And against the Raiders this week, that's going to be a lot. I think they go 35 plus again against the Raiders. I think Bo Nix is going to be a big part of that. Target Denver this week. Denver are going to be absolutely fine for you.
3 things I want to say about that. Firstly, they're very good at winning big because their defense is incredible.
Yeah.
They just seem to stop the opposition offenses all the time. And given how bad the Raiders have been,
well, we don't even know. Okay, 2 things. Who's starting a quarterback for the Raiders? We think Minshew. We don't know.
Yeah,
and running back. We don't know who's around. It's probably Amir Abdullah as their starting running back at the moment. How are Vegas going to score points?
Brock Bowers. That's all I've got for you. I don't know. The Denver Broncos defense is good. The one thing is you just need Bo Nix to succeed, which is why I like that double for you there. It's not a double; it's 2 selections, but the double up in the matchup. Because if the Broncos cover, it's likely due to Bo Nix being able to pass all over the Raiders. So I like that. Second point, I personally, and this is completely irrelevant to betting this week, but I think it is relevant to Dynasty Fantasy Football if you have a team in a league like that. Go get Troy Franklin, because I think he's going to be wide receiver number 1 very, very soon in Denver. He's getting a bigger workload recently. Courtland Sutton's 30 years old now. He's very good still, but I think Franklin may be number 1. So go get him. And thirdly, it's very unlike you to put up a team against the spread. I don't know how many times you've done it this year, but it's not been many.
No, not many. I prefer focusing on player props, but the time that I go for the handicap is when I think a team will absolutely crush a team. And I think Denver will. I'm really sorry, Raiders fans, but I think Denver are going to do some really, really, really mean things to you.
I hope so, for our sake anyway, the podcast's sake. So, yeah, I think that rounds up your picks, doesn't it?
That
I've
does.
got one to go.
You've just got one more.
And I'm glad we left this one to last, because this is a tip and a pick
I wonder who it is.
that I just love. Right, Sunday Night Football. Everyone likes to play in Sunday Night Football. It's the final game of a long slate on a Sunday, but everyone likes to have a pick in that final game. So why not put a play up again? It's between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. A very good game. Maybe not the best of games on Sunday, because we've already talked about 2 in the 9 p.m. slate that are top quality, but it's still a very good game.
It's Dallas Goedert.
I actually think I'll have a good game, but no. It has become a theme of the Turf and Touchdowns podcast, myself in particular, to put up Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. We're 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. Let's make it 4-0. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's my 5th and final play on Sunday. Right. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. If you've watched any of the previous weeks, you know why I like Hurts. Just an overview as to why, if you haven't seen any episodes before. He has 9 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He has 11 rushing touchdowns this season. They're going to continue to call his number. As I keep saying, when you know an offensive coordinator, a play caller, is going to pick on a player in a specific circumstance, you have to bet that player to score a touchdown, especially when it's a quarterback, especially when it's a rushing play, and especially when it's all the time in the red zone. Literally, inside the 5-yard line, Hurts. From the 20-yard line to the 5-yard line, Hurts is still going to get a fair opportunity, not via brotherly shove, but just via scrambles and QB draws. Like, Jalen Hurts' number gets called very often. The one caveat this week is that traders have finally cottoned on a little bit. Mm-hmm. They put him down at 10-11 for the anytime touchdown. Previously, I said, providing Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown is odds against, e.g. even money or bigger, I will continue to put it up. Now, I am breaking my rule a little bit because he's not odds against, he's odds on this week, but I still love Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. And when something wins so often, why give up on it? Nothing's really changed here. So I'm going with Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown in Sunday Night Football at 10 to 11 as my final pick on Sunday.
When you and Jalen Hurts break up, it's going to be a real sad day for the Turf and Touchdowns podcast.
It's inevitable at some point, but I can't be angry. I can't be angry. He's helped us this year.
Yeah, fair enough. He's had a very good season for the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. Let's wrap up our selections, but we're going to do it by also adding in our giveaway that we're giving away this week. It's a £50 free bet. We're upping it. It was £25 when we offered it a few weeks ago, but there is a stipulation. You have to leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't be that guy. But leave a comment down below. We're going to pick our favorite comment effectively. It could be on anything. It could be a compliment to me. It could be a compliment to Tom. It could be your favorite pick of the week. It could be your favorite recipe for your favorite spaghetti dish. It could be absolutely anything, but we're going to pick our favorite comment. If you comment, you're in. That is it. You might not even know that there's a competition, but if you comment, you're in. That's the rule, Tom.
It is the rule. Obviously, we're going to both have a look at the comments and judge between us. I'm just going to say, if you can get a score prediction right, that may be the best comment this week.
Winners impress us.
Yeah, exactly. It could be anything. Even if it's something funny, you can still win. So yeah, please do comment down below. Enter the giveaway. £50 free bet for grabs. You can have it on anything that you want. Are we going to do this? Are we going to actually do the giveaway prior to the games on Sunday? And then we can place it on the games? This is not good for podcasts, just blank space. If you could give me an answer soon, that would be great.
No, I say it applies to next week.
Okay, it applies to next week.
We want to give the whole bit because we're going through till Monday Night Football.
Okay, fine. So you've technically got a whole week to do it, but please do it on Sunday so we can judge then. And also give us a like down below as well. It won't help with the giveaway at all, but we will appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you clicked on the picks part, there you go. There's your opportunity to win something. But here are our picks for this week. Tom, I'll allow you to go first.
All right, as per usual, I will read off my phone to not get this wrong. Okay, first up, Brian Robinson for the Washington Commanders, anytime touchdown at 8 to 11. That's my first pick in week 12. Second pick, Jonnu Smith for the Miami Dolphins, over 39.5 receiving yards against the New England Patriots at 10 to 11. Third pick, Ken Walker for the Seattle Seahawks, over 64.5 rushing yards, again, 10 to 11 there. Fourth pick, Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles, anytime touchdown at 10 to 11. That's in Sunday Night Football against the Rams. And finally, we always end with the player of the day in this roundup section. Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings against the damn Chicago Bears. Anytime touchdown. 11 to 10, biggest price of my picks this week. That's my player of the day. Come on, Jay Jetters.
Yeah. Just stop bullying Chicago. Just stop bullying Chicago. It's mean.
No.
My selections this week. Devon Achan. Over 68.5 rushing yards. Bo Nix, over 213.5 passing yards. Denver Broncos -6 in the handicap. Ken Walker, anytime touchdown. And the play of the day is going to be Ken Walker, over 64.5 rushing yards. We've got another play of the day, joint play double going on here. We had that with Amon-Ra St. Brown the other week to score a touchdown. He managed to do that, landed like 3 bets in one for us. So we're hoping that Ken Walker does exactly the same in this. Thank you very much for joining us in week 12 on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. We've still got one more game to go. We've got a Monday Night Football special that is still on our channel as we speak. But subscribe, leave a comment down below to enter our giveaway for a £50 free bet. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Helps us out massively on that side of things. Tom, let's go talk about more football.
Yes, we've got the Monday Night Football podcast coming up. So if you've watched this, click across. The Monday Night Football podcast should be there as well. And if you don't want to watch it immediately, just watch it before Monday night. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Click the bell notification down below. We haven't said that ever, I don't think, but it does alert you whenever we put a video up, so you can watch it straight away and get these lines that we're talking about. They do quite often shift between the time of recording, which right now is Thursday at 11:30 in the morning UK time, from then until prior to the game. So they do shift. If you have that bell notification on, you'll see it immediately. You can get the line that we like. And finally, go check out SBK, link in the description below, create an account, get that offer or get the 2 offers that we've talked about and then play some of our US picks.
Exactly, and that is us done for the Sunday slate. We'll talk to you on the Monday Night Football preview. Thank you for being with us until we next speak to you, which is hopefully just after this video. Stay safe, look after other. Goodbye.